Hey Tubies! It's Psychic Bob. It is so rocking to be back with you guys. Well, I gotta tell you guys, thank you. Thank you for coming out to our video on Thursday, our vlog. Had such a good time. I have to tell you guys, I went to the pho restaurant and I did that video on Thursday. And I went back Friday to eat pho. I've been eating pho every day because it's really healing me. Well, the owners were so touched by the video. I got to show you a wonderful gift they gave me. Look at this. I got a beautiful golden Buddha. Can you guys see that? It's kind of hard to see here. There's the Buddha sitting and smiling. It looks like he's made of solid gold. It's really heavy. But he's stretched out here, reclining, and he's sitting with a lion. He's got a little, it's kind of hard to see here, but he's got a Fu lion that's around and guarding the buddy. Isn't he precious? Look at that face. Oh my God, I love the Buddha. And I rub his stomach for good luck. And I'm wearing also my Buddha pendant today. And I blessed it by touching it to this. So anyways, I want to say thank you to the owners of Pho Hui for allowing me to come and do that video. And thank you for my beautiful gift of a golden Buddha. I really treasure him. And he's getting a prized place of honor in my house. He's going to be in my dining room on my fireplace mantle in my dining room. So, yay! Happy Buddha! Isn't that wonderful? Well, I tell you guys, you know, yesterday was UFO Friday, and I meant to get out a video. Christian the Man, whose channel I highly recommend, I'll put a link below, and I are coordinating. We were trying to get out an interview for yesterday, but it just didn't work. We both had technical problems. So hopefully next Friday we're going to have him on and be able to do that. He's really great. Christian, thank you for your understanding. The time we got it going was just too late, and I think if we can do it next week, we'll have a better time. So anyways, so yeah, I didn't get out a video yesterday, but Psychic Bob also still needed to rest. I'm still recovering. I'm doing 110% better, but you know, it's still, there's little bits like when I go and walk a long distance, I realize that I still got to build up a little more stamina. But anyways, I'm just glad to be here. Well, we're going to continue on with our Spiritualist class, and for those of you who are new here, this is something we try to do each Saturday, and this is to learn about Spiritualism. As many of you know, I am a Wiccan priest, but I'm also a Spiritualist, and I practice both faiths because to me they don't seem in conflict. And we've been studying a Spiritualist teacher, Sylvia Browne, famous psychic, mystic, this is her book called Mystical Traveler. And so we're talking right now about life themes. And so if you haven't seen the previous videos, you might need to go back and catch up. We just have a few weeks here, so it's not too far back for you to go back. But we're going to go ahead and continue on with our themes today, okay? These are your life themes. Now, let me just kind of explain this before I get into it. When we come into the earth, we make a life chart, our plan of what we're going to do. And part of that, we choose a theme. For example, my life themes are psychic and communicator. So, no surprise there, right? But, we each try to develop a theme. And people I find that have the most success are those who understand their life themes and try to live their life themes. And when you live your life theme, life is a lot easier and you have a lot more success, a lot more joy. And so we're talking about different life themes. And if you've never thought about what life theme you are, this might be a good time to start thinking about it. Sylvia lists in her book 47 different life themes, and we're going through those now. So we're going to start today on page 17, and we're going to start with point 20, the justice theme. Okay, so I'm going to do some reading, and this is again from Sylvia Browne's book, Mystical Traveler. Justice. Many of America's founding fathers, concerned as they were with fairness and equality, are examples of the justice theme in operation, as are those who eagerly help out and provide the authorities with information when they've witnessed an accident or crime. As admirable as all this sounds, it's imperative that these entities use discretion in their choices and remain God-centered. Now, I'm going to pause and I just want to comment on that. I think this is true. The justice theme it does a lot of good. You know, like they said, many of our founding fathers had justice themes. And they fought against the injustices of the British tyranny at the time. But Sylvia says, as admirable as this all sounds, it is imperative that these entities use discretion in their choices and remain God-centered. Now, the reason why she says that is, you know, one of the challenging parts of justice theme is that some people with justice theme start to get so obsessed with everything being just and fair that they go to extremes. You know, like they'll see somebody drop a piece of bubble gum on a street and suddenly they want to escalate it into a felony offense, you know. And so justice theme people have to, you know, kind of sometimes simmer down a little bit. They get a little high strung, you know, and remain God-centered, because it's very easy to go from the overall righteous sense of justice to personal self-judgment. And that's where you start to get into trouble. Okay. It's an interesting justice theme. The next theme, 21, lawfulness. Practicing or teaching law is an obvious choice for these entities, who are almost always obsessed with issues of legality, while others in this category may be found serving on governing boards. When elevated, these souls keep the world safe and balanced, but they must always be on guard against the possibility of using their power in a self-serving manner. Okay? So, lawfulness, yeah, that's really good. A lot of lawyers have that. A lot of legal teachers have that. And, you know, I think it's so important that, because, again, like the justice theme, lawfulness can get hung up in legalism. You know, legalism is like following the rule of the law, but not the spirit of the law, you know. And, you know, Jesus in his day, you know, always preached against that. Because he used to talk about the Pharisees and the scribes and how they go around pontificating, yet they themselves were evil people. So lawfulness is an interesting theme. And for those of you who may, you know, feel called to that, make sure to always work from the higher self rather than the lower self. Okay. Point 22, life theme number 22 is leader. Those who possess this theme are self-controlled, premeditated, and rarely innovative, choosing to take charge in areas that are already established. Their drive is towards success rather than creation, and their challenge is to avoid power trips. Now, I think we've all met leadership-themed people. I think Donald Trump is actually a leader-themed person, you know, because he's, you know, used to running big corporations, and now he's running the nation, and, you know, and it says here, they tend to be rarely innovative. I'm going to disagree with Sylvia a little bit on that, because some of the leadership people I've thought have become leaders because they've broken out of the mold of the standard. So I don't always agree with everything Sylvia says, and that's okay. You know, and I tell people, don't agree with everything I say either. You know, we're all free entities with free minds. I know what she's saying, that a lot of leaders follow a, you know, standard protocol, but I also said a lot of leadership themes don't follow that, and they're very innovative. It says their drive is towards success rather than creation, and their challenge is to avoid power trips. You know, leadership theme people sometimes have egos. I have a number of clients that have leadership themes, and they're amazing people. But sometimes I think to myself, well, I don't want to get on their bad side. They're a little powerful and intimidating. If you're a leadership theme person, you might want to really focus on gentleness, because it doesn't take away your power to be kind to people. Something to think about. Okay. Our next theme, 23, is loner. Now that's an interesting thing. All Although often in the vanguard of society, those with this theme invariably pick occupations or situations in which they're isolated in some way. This is Sylvia speaking. This is a secondary theme of mine, for being a psychic has set me apart from others. Loners are generally happy with themselves, but should watch their irritation levels when people come into their space. If each theme recognizes the presence and significance of other themes, the result will be far greater tolerance and understanding in the world, and eventually, peace. That's interesting. I've met a number of people who have a loner theme, and they're not like sad, miserable people. They just enjoy solitude. They enjoy their own company. Most of them are very intellectual, very, very self-motivated people. So that's a neat theme. Maybe some of you have a loner theme. I know some of you have written me, told me you have a loner theme in the past. And, the challenge with the loner theme, as Sylvia says, is not to let people get into, lose control. Because some people have a loner theme. Like, I think of Howard Hughes. I think he had a loner theme. And when I read about his life, he got it to such an extreme. I mean, he was a germaphobe as well. It's a whole different issue. But he really pulled back from the world in so many ways. And I don't know if loner theme... I mean, it's a good theme. It's a challenging theme. And I guess my question as a psychic would be, how does a loner theme help you help others? Because, see, it seems to be withdrawing from others. So to me, I question sometimes if that theme is really good for the soul's growth, I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, it's an interesting thing because, the spirit people oftentimes talk to me about us helping each other. And I always think, do loner people help people? Maybe they do. Maybe it's just quiet ways of helping. Anyways, I'm not judging. It's just something to think about. All right, our next theme is the loser theme. Now, who would choose a theme like that, huh? But people do. Loser theme. These entities are extremely negative. Although, unlike those with the fallibility theme, they're born without handicaps. Often losers have many good points, but they choose to ignore them. Although their theme may resemble that of the irritant with their proclivity for constant criticism, they're different in that they invariably place the blame back on poor me. These entities are the prime martyrs, moving from one elaborate soap opera to another. It's important that we not judge the people who have this theme, remembering that their patterns were chosen to enable us to perfect ourselves. And by observing them in action, we endeavor to be more positive. Now, isn't that interesting? That's something I hadn't thought about, because anything about losers are always people always having the bad luck, the drama, they're kind of energy vampires, honestly. But yet they enter our lives, and this is, I think, a really amazing point Sylvie says. They enter our lives to help us perfect ourselves. Now that's really interesting, because I know a few people who have this theme. And I have to be honest, I just want to steer clear of them. Whenever I see them, I'm like, oh Lord, I hope they don't see me. I don't want to get into their drama. So, next time I see the loser theme people that I know, I'm going to reflect on how they've helped me. And if they do have an interaction with me, I'm going to say this is a message from Spirit. So anyways, think about that. Maybe you have some of those people in your lives, the loser theme people, people say, oh, he's a loser, stay away from him. Or she's a loser, stay away from her. Well, rather than judging them, why don't we love them and say they are teaching us something? Maybe one of the things that loser theme people teach us is what we don't want to bring into our lives. Like a lot of loser theme people, the ones I know, always have drama. They're always being evicted from their home, or their bank account has been hijacked by some third world nation. They're always just in a bad place, never moving ahead. Well, that's a reminder. When we meet them, next time I meet someone, I'm going to think about, what they're exhibiting. And what that means is that I don't want to bring that into my life. And so it's kind of a message like, be careful, you don't want to go into that scenario. So they teach us stuff. That's really good. I'm glad Sylvia wrote this, because I've met some and I never quite understood how to deal with that. All right, we're going to do one more here. Number 25, manipulator theme. This is one of the most powerful themes, for manipulators are easily able to control situations as well as people. By viewing life as a chessboard, those with this theme can move individuals and circumstances to their advantage, as though they were pawns. President Franklin D. Roosevelt was a prime example of a manipulator in action. When such a person works for the good of others, this theme is elevated to its highest purpose. However, when the theme is misused, the ultimate goal of perfection takes a long time to achieve. This is interesting too, because I've known a number of these type of theme people, manipulator theme. And Sylvia's right about this, because like manipulators at a high level, like the diplomatic level, like heads of state, they can manipulate and make entire world change for the better. I think about people like John F. Kennedy, who had to deal with Khrushchev and manipulate that whole Cuban Missile Crisis. He played a chess match in that one. And the world's safer. The Russians withdrew their missiles from Cuba. So that's manipulation in action. Anyways, I think this is very fascinating, because I find that a lot of people that also have leadership themes also have manipulator themes. That's been my experience in doing readings. So a lot of times people come for a reading, I'll say, you have a leadership theme, and then I'll say, you have a manipulator theme. Now, sometimes when I tell people they have a manipulator theme, they get offended. They take it as I'm negative, like controlling people. Not really. They are controlling people, but they control people in a way that makes everything better for everybody. So I think this is an interesting theme, and one that's not necessarily bad. So, well, we're going to stop with those today, but this is just continuing on with Sylvia Browne's book, Mystical Traveler. So if you haven't gotten this, I would encourage you to pop over to Amazon or eBay or your local bookseller and pick up a copy, because we're going to be going through this. Now, right now, we're just doing the life themes, and we'll get back more into the actual mechanics of becoming a mystical traveler. That comes a little later, but we'll get to that soon. But these are important, these life themes, to understand, because this is part of preparing. If you understand what your life theme is, you can prepare better to enact your mystical traveler role. So anyways, just a little bit to think about today. Well, guys, we're going to get ready now and do our seance. And so I invite you guys to pull up your chairs here in a little circle. I'm going to get ready for the seance, and we're going to have trance channeling. Spelled T-R-A-N-C-E. Trance, not trans. T-R-A-N-S. Somebody said, are you a trans channel? I said, no, I'm a trance channel. Okay, so just to clarify, everything's trans, this or that nowadays. Not to knock, it's just I'm a trance channel, not a trans channel. All right. Anyways, guys, listen. Pull up your chairs, and we'll be back here. Hang with us. We'll be in just 1 minute. Thanks so much. Now, tubies, we come to the part of our session where we're going to do some trance channeling. For those of you who are here, trance channeling is a form of spiritualist practice. And what happens in a trance channeling is that a medium puts himself, in this case it'll be me, I put myself in a trance state, and my spirit guides overshadow my consciousness, and they use my body to come through and to communicate. And if you've never seen it, it may seem a little strange, but not to worry, I'm doing fine, I'm in no pain or anything like that. So just sit back and let's be open to what happens. As you know, as I always say, it's always an experiment. I never know who's going to come through or if anybody will come through. Well, we're going to be open to the spirits, and I've told Fletcher I'd like him to be here today and the other guides, and so we'll see what happens. Anyways, I'm going to dim the lights. A lot of mediums, when they do channeling, like to have softer lighting. So we'll take the lights down a little bit. Hopefully you can still see me okay. And I'm going to sit back and go into trance. So I'll see you when I get back. Oh, there we go. I think we've established contact with the body. Oh, hello, this is Fletcher out there. I hope y'all can hear me. I hope we're coming in loud and clear. Oh, it's been a little while since we've got to come through our medium. We've been taking a little bit of a break with him, as his body's been healing and stabilizing. But it looks like today his vibration's quite strong, and we're going to be able to come through and speak with you. Well, I got a few others here who want to be saying hello. We don't wish to tax our medium long, so I'm not going to allow him to stay in very long. But hopefully we can get a little bit of a transmission for you. This is Fletcher. I'll see you in a little while. Yes, Fletcher, I do believe that I've been able to secure his contact in the body. I hope that all of you out there can hear me. Our medium's vibration is waning just a little bit. Fletcher, will you assist me in stabilizing it? There we go. Thank you, Fletcher. Greetings, my name is Alfred. It's been a while since I've had the opportunity to come to speak to you like this. But please know that we of the Spirit have never forgotten you. Know that we are very close to you. There are some here today who have said, I know that I have heard this voice before. Yes, you have. I have spoken to many of you. Some of you I have reached out to in your sleep. During your dream state, it is easiest for those of us in the etheric realms to make contact. We can reach across the divide and make contact with your mind. Spirit communication is most normally facilitated mind to mind. Hence our medium is a mental medium as well as a physical medium. And when we seek to reach across to a person's mind, it is as easy as transmitting an electric thought. It's like making a telephone call. We tune into the frequency of the medium and then we speak. And the medium, if he is attentive and sensitive, will receive our message. Mental mediumship is something that is somewhat of a mystery to many people. Yet it need not be, for the earliest humans engaged in mind-to-mind communication. Telepathy has been proven scientifically among humans, and yet many people doubt its reality, and even furthermore doubt the reality of spirit communication. Try to understand that those of us in the spirit world will use whatever means we wish and can employ to reach across the divide to make the connection with each of you. Some of you will receive us as voices that you hear audibly. Some will receive it as simply a knowing within. Some of you will receive our messages as a flash, an image. Whichever way it reaches you, do not judge it, but simply receive it and record it. Those of you wishing to become mediums would do well to understand that mediumship is not exactly the same for every medium. You may be a medium and say, I have never heard a spirit voice, therefore I am not receiving communications. Do not be so quick to judge yourself, for your communication may come as a flash of insight, a sudden knowing. Pay attention to the subtle energies that swirl about you. You may have a physical feeling in your body, or you may have an image in your mind. These are all valid forms of communication. The spirit world does not wish to play hocus pocus. We're not interested in making our presence a mystery or intriguing or complex. We wish that our presence be simply as any other person's presence would be. We have the added struggle, though, that we are working between dimensions. Your earth dimension is one of a slower, denser vibration than that of the etheric realms. In the etheric realms, things oscillate at a higher frequency. That is why you do not see or sense the spirits most of the time. Though you may be in a room with 1,000 spirits, you will think you are alone. But the truth is, you are never truly alone. Our world and your world crisscross all the time. And all it takes is an awareness. To let your mental gifts develop, it is important that you make yourself present for us each day. We invite you to sit in silence, contemplating the universe, awaiting for our presence. But perhaps not merely wait. That may not be the way to describe it. It might be better that you ask for our presence. Demand it, in fact. And say, I will not move from my chair until I receive a message from the spirit world. And when that message comes, do not reject it, however. Don't say, well, I didn't hear a voice, therefore it is not a valid message. You may receive an image. Write it down. Write down. Keep a notepad of you and write down what you receive. An image, a word, a voice, a sensation even. Perhaps a chill of cool air. Know that we use any way we can to reach across the divide and to make our presence known. As I said, we do not wish to make our presence a complex guessing game. We will make it clear and direct as we can. But it is up to you to understand the methods that we communicate in. And this is why we encourage you to research and study the ancient spiritualists, those of the Victorian era. They understood how the spirit worked. And in the early 1900s in the United States and in Great Britain, there were great vast groups of spiritualists. Their history has all but been forgotten by many of the younger generation today. And if you would but go back and study the history of your movement, the movement of spiritualism, then you would understand the methodologies employed by our world. Today, unfortunately, much mediumship has become, well, somewhat of an entertainment, I should say. You'll see, you do these television shows where mediums make it appear as if we can communicate faster than lightning. It is true that in some mediums' cases we will speak rapidly and in a rapid-fire response method, almost like a machine gun, tut-tut-tut-tut-tut, we will bring across our words. But not in all cases. In fact, in most mediumship there is a slow exchange. Though the energy travels at the speed of light, the ability to process it on each side takes some time. When you send a thought up to us, we have to receive it. It does not travel as quickly as our communications. And likewise, when we send a thought to you, it travels very rapidly. But it takes your brain a little while to process what it has received. And so there is a delay on both sides. So do not be discouraged when you see the mediums on television speaking rapidly. If your communication comes rapidly, then you shall be blessed. But if it comes in a slower manner, do not think yourself less of a medium. In time, your patience will be rewarded, and in time, the power will build, and so you will come to understand how it is that we speak to you. Fletcher says there are others who wish to speak, and we wish them to get in before the medium's power fades. So I shall conclude my statement here today, but I thank you for receiving me. My name is Alfred. Oh, there we are. Oh, greetings, my dears. This is Rose. Can you hear me out there? I do hope so. We're so pleased that our medium is back and available for us. I tell you, we did have a bit of a fright with him for the last few days. He was looking a little pasty, you know. Reminded me of one of my relatives who went to India and got, I don't know what it was, one of those tropical diseases, really pale looking and quite faint. Our medium looked a bit like that, and I was a bit concerned. Luckily, Fletcher and the other spirit guides intervened to strengthen his vibration, and his body seems to be quite stable today. His vibration is allowing me to have a solid connection with you here, and we're so very pleased to have the opportunity to come and speak to you. Fletcher says I cannot stay long, for his power is not fully developed, so therefore I will keep this brief today. Many of you have also been calling upon me. You've been saying, Rose, will you help me with my mediumship? Rose, will you help me with my spirit communication? And as many of you know, I have come to you in those moments and given you my assurances. Know that each of you who have called upon me, I have answered you in some way or another. And if you say, I don't know that I've heard from you, fear not, my dears, I'll make even further contact to prove my presence to you. But I wish to let you know that we, the spirit world, are so very thankful for all of you who are open to our presences, for those of you who are letting us work through you. So many of you I've been able to connect you with your spirit guides and angels and loved ones. And it does my heart good to know that you're opening to our world. And if you're here today listening and you're saying, but Rose, I've tried to connect with the spirit world and I don't feel I'm making any progress, do not fear, my dear. I shall make a special effort to help you. Just please do call upon me. It is our wish here in the spirit world that all humans will be open to our reality, will be open to our world. The more we commune between the worlds, the greater light comes into the earth. You know, my dears, I must say, during my day, during the time of World War II, it seems that the world was in a very dark place. And I must say, I do believe it was. But your times also have their own peril. You may not have Hitler on the rise as we did, but you have an even worse thing, I think. It is the rise of indifference, the rise of lack of love. Humanity was meant to love each other, and yet most of the world is at war with each other, or hates each other, or, as the worst, is even simply indifferent. Sometimes people die in the streets and no one even cares. This is not in keeping with the higher power's wishes. Infinite intelligence wishes that all of us be aware that we connect to those around us and that we give them love. And if we will allow ourselves to be the vessels of love, then we shall be the presence of infinite intelligence. Know today that if you say, Rose, I don't know what my spiritual mission is, I don't know that I even have a mission. My dear, your mission is to spread love. Love your neighbor. You may not have homeless people where you live. You say, I don't know how to help the poor. There are no poor where I live. Well, then you're most blessed. But if you're in such an area, love those who are very rich as well. Many of the rich suffer from idle loneliness. They have everything money can buy, yet they've forgotten God and they've forgotten how to love, and nobody loves them. Even rich people should be reached out to as those of the poorest of the poor. For all people need love. In the West, love is a rare commodity these days. When I traveled to India, I remember the simple love of the people there. Materially, they had nothing. No money, no gold, no diamonds. Not the average people. I mean, the Maharajas did. I definitely associated with them. But, my dears, the average person did not live like that. And you know, They had more love than our most successful people at home. When I returned to England after that trip, I thought to myself, I know all these people, and yet most of them are miserable. They don't have the simple love of the people of India. And so if you want to know love, look at the people of India. To this very day, they still carry that love, that divine connection. Let it overtake you. You don't have to go to India to see it. Look within. You have your own love. Share that with a neighbor, and you'll be doing the very work of God, the work of the spirit world. Fletcher says our medium's power is waning, so I don't wish to tax him much longer. But I do thank you for receiving us today, and we're so very, very thankful for you. I hope that wherever you are, that today you will begin to live in love. And before the power fades, let me remind you that love costs nothing to give, and it will bring infinite rewards to you. Power is fading. I must go now. I love you. My name is Ray. Well, Tubies, I have so enjoyed having you here today for our class and our seance. And, you know, I just love to channel, and I'm so thankful that I'm able to start channeling again, and I hope this has been a help and a blessing for you as well. Listen, if you, enjoy my work and want to learn more about it, you might want to pop over to my website. I've got some wonderful books there. This is Messages from Rose. It's kind of hard, so I got some glare there. This is about my work as a trance channel, as a medium when I channel. You might enjoy that. I also have over there another book, Ouija Mysteries, the Spirit Board Seances. Definitely check that out. Psychic Bob's Book of Wiccan Wisdom. All of these and more are available over at my website, and the link will be below, robert-hickman.com. Pop over and check those out and pick up a book, And if you're interested in getting on my schedule for a private reading, I still have, I think, a few openings for this upcoming week, and I'd love to see you guys. So give me a call at my office, 571-483-2112, and get on the schedule, and or you can write to me at readings@robert-hickman.com. Again, all these links will be in the info box below this video, and we'll get you on for a private session. Well, guys, thanks for being here. I love you guys. Keep it here for more. Tomorrow is, what's tomorrow? Sunday. I think we're going to have the witching hour. So I hope you'll be back here. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. Anyways, hope you're having a wonderful Saturday wherever you are. And may the blessings of the mystical Buddha be with you all. We'll see you guys soon. Till then, blessed be. Love you guys.